Is it too soon to be getting hyped about the Heavy update?
Yes!
Is it though?
Yes! Yes!
Might be a little bit, eh? Might be a little bit too soon. Nah, it's fine. Who cares? It's not like we got hyped too early for the last one. No. Before we get too deep into this episode, I just want to say this is going to be entirely speculation, just a bit of fun. No facts, no news, just a topic I wanted to have a little chat about. Just wanted to say that so you know what you're getting yourself into. But as we know, the Heavy update is likely to be the next major update for TF2. The last one being, of course, the Pyro update. Now, we got to vote for that, and unfortunately a lot of people accidentally slipped and pressed the Pyro button, which, happens. It's fine. It's not their fault they got it wrong. That's not a problem. Joking, of course. I voted for Heavy. I thought, sure, he's more viable. Sure, he's less broken. But I just thought he was less fun and there's less variation with that class. But, I'm not bitter at all. It's fine. To be fair, Pyro was pretty broken, right? And now he's even more broken. Whoa, burn! That's right, I went there. So I double checked on Wiki, and it turns out that we had to wait 270 days for the Pyro update. It was the longest wait for a major update in TF2 history, and the one before that was Smissmas 2016. So, I've done a little bit of maths. I'm on it, alright? I've done my research. So far, we have waited 140 days since the Pyro update, and that means we have 130 days left, if the Pyro update is anything to go by. But, let's get speculating. /talk bollocks. Right, so there's two big questions that are on my mind. One, is it going to be as big as the Pyro update? And two, how long will we have to wait for this goddamn thing? I think it's only natural for everyone to expect it to be as big as the Pyro update, because in a way it's like two sides of the same coin. There was this big announcement for these two updates. It would be weird for one to be a lot smaller than the other. So I'm going to stick my neck out and say yes, it's going to be a big old juicy update, and it's going to be as big as the Pyro update, and it's going to be flipping awesome. Okay? And I'm going to stick my neck out even further like an idiot and say I don't think it's going to take as long as the Pyro update took. I'm sorry, I've just jinxed it, haven't I? I apologise. Soz about that. I can't help but think the dev team, kind of played around with some ideas for the Heavy update whilst they were thinking of the Pyro update. I'm sure they wrote down some ideas, maybe even started some work on it. And because of all the crazy backlash around the time it took to get the Pyro update out, I just can't imagine them making us wait that long again. But you just never know with Valve. They like to keep us on our toes, eh? Treat us mean, keep us keen. The other side of the argument is there's like 6 of them, right? There's a very small team of developers. They've got to maintain the game, iron out bugs. They've got a lot of work to do, so no pressure, guys. If it could be a bit sooner, that would be lovely. But I try to avoid, slagging the dev team off, because I'm pretty sure they're trying their darnest to get this stuff out for us as quickly as possible. I think they probably learnt a lot from the Pyro update. I would have thought so, because there were some bumps along the way. And if you remember, the first thing they did with the Pyro update was give us a nice, interesting list of buffs and nerfs that they were thinking of doing to certain weapons. So that should give us a really good clue. If and when we get that same kind of list of changes, that should give us a clue as to how long we've got to wait for the actual final product. I also wonder if, the Pyro update brought a lot of players back to TF2. I think, unfortunately, it was quite temporary, but at the same time, I reckon they made a decent amount of money from people buying contractor passes, taunts, weapons, that kind of thing. So I like to think that surely that proves to the company that, this game can still make money, it's still worth investing in. I don't know. Again, who knows? At the same time, we know how Valve works. You can work on whatever you like. Maybe they're willing to pay for more developers, but maybe there's just none about who particularly want to work on this older game. But yeah, I think it's fair to say that we're going to see new weapons and taunts and maps. There was a huge amount of content for the Pyro update, and it was kind of good and bad really, because we all have our opinions, right? I think some of that content wasn't so great. There were a surprising amount of new maps, some of which I just don't think I'm going to see a lot of on a day-to-day basis in TF2. And some of the weapons, again, I think there were some cool ones in there, but there were also some in there that I just don't think many people are going to ever get out. And to be honest, I'm not even a massive fan of the Dragon's Fury itself. We're kind of going off topic here anyway, so let's bring it back to the Heavy update. New weapons, new maps, they're the two big things that I personally get most excited for. I did a weapons concept video for Heavy not too long ago. I had the idea of him having some kind of banner, which he can charge up and then have some kind of awesome ability. I think there's loads of cool ideas that we could see brought to the Heavy, and I'm really looking forward to seeing them. I'd be totally cool with the team actually going for quality over quantity, because it felt like they had a lot of stuff to ship last time, and I just think some of those items we're not going to actually see a lot of. But this is the big question for me, and I have faith, guys. Last time, we were all expecting some kind of improvement, some kind of fix to the matchmaking system, to competitive TF2. That was the biggest disappointment for me in the last update, and I like to think that Valve saw that we were all disappointed about this, and that they'll think, okay, we should probably not do that again. This time we've got to deliver it. We just have to. We can't do the same again. But you never know. We're just speculating here. My fingers are crossed, my feet are crossed, my eyelids are crossed. I don't know what else you can cross, okay? Before we wrap up this episode, I just wanted to talk about some more specific ideas. What are some of the problems and limitations with the heavy class that we might see being addressed? So with the Pyro, I think it was like, okay, let's try and make him a little bit more viable, give him more burst damage, and fix the flame particles. I'd say those are 2 or 3 of the biggest goals the dev team had with the Pyro. So what are they thinking about as they look at the heavy? Now, you guys correct me if I'm wrong here, guys, because I'm not a heavy main. I don't play him that often, but I think in some situations he can be quite reliant on a pocket medic, and then when he does get a pocket medic, he's super powerful. So how can we make him a bit more independent, if you like? I think his stock minigun is probably the best, closely followed by his Tommy Slav. Can we see more variety there? In terms of his secondaries, pretty much everyone uses the sandwich, right? So it'd be nice to see some more variation there as well. And one thing I've experienced myself is, how do you keep up with a 5 CP game, which is super fast paced? Say it's a very close one and the front line is moving backwards and forwards a lot. It's very difficult for the heavy to keep up. But mobility is intentionally his limitation. So you can't really give him crazy mobility options without breaking the class. So it's an interesting one how they could potentially address that. And the whole mobility thing, that's probably one of the main reasons that I don't think I'm ever going to enjoy heavy as much as some of the other classes. He's still fun, don't get me wrong, but just sometimes there's nothing quite as awesome as jumping around a massive map like Badwater. I think generally speaking the biggest problem to address for heavy, and I hope I don't offend anyone here, apologies if I trigger your faces off, I just think this class is fairly one-dimensional. Whatever loadout you choose, what you end up doing is going to be pretty much the same thing. So what can we expect? Looking at what we've seen in the past and thinking about these problems we just went through, what can we expect for the heavy? So, at the very least, I reckon we're going to see a new minigun, right? It makes sense. What's going to be the equivalent of the Dragon's Fury for heavy? I know, I'm getting you hyped, aren't I? Exciting stuff. Could it be like a totally different kind of minigun? A super short range one? A really long range one? Maybe like a shotgun minigun? I don't know what I'm saying here. But yeah, I think it's safe to say that we're going to get a new minigun, which is exciting. I think we're also going to see lots of weapon tweaks for the least used weapons for the heavy. Again, any heavy mains out there, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm guessing some of the least used weapons are the Hulong Heater, the Delocos bar. Some of these just you never really see. The community thinks they're really lame. They're bound to be tweaked to make them more viable. And a bit of wild speculation never hurt anyone. Could they develop the Fat Scout as a subclass? I mean, he's already kind of a jokey subclass, but could they kind of take that a bit further? Switch out his minigun for like the equivalent of the Demo Man's boots, some kind of armor, make him run faster. I don't know. Would he become too close to the classic Scout in that case? I don't know, but it could be fun. Could be a fun direction for the devs to go in. And of course, in the Pyro update, we saw 1 or 2 items for the heavy. Well, we saw the second banana at least, and we saw a nice little Yeti suit. So we might expect to see some bits for the Pyro in this one, like at the very least cosmetics, but maybe a little cheeky gift for the Pyro as well. Who knows? But let me leave you with this. For the Pyro, we got a jetpack. What's the heavy equivalent of a jetpack? Maybe it's just another jetpack. Whack it on the heavy too. Everyone can have a jetpack. Go mad. Why not? Anyway, guys, I know this episode was just pure speculation. I just wanted to have a chat about it, get people prematurely hyped. I don't know why. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, what you want to see, when you think the update's going to come, and get on the hype train. Get on the hype train right now, okay? But yeah, it's weird to think that we've passed the halfway point of the time we had to wait for the Pyro update, if you see what I mean. The longest period of time we've ever had to wait. So we're past the halfway point. Surely they're not going to make us wait that long again. So fingers crossed. Worst case scenario, 130 days left. Get hyped, I'm joking. I have faith in them, guys. 1, they're going to blow us away this time. 2, it's going to be way quicker. It might be next week, who knows. 3, they're going to bring matchmaking and it's going to change TF2 forever. I'm not deluded, I promise. See you later, guys.